Hi everyone, welcome back to my kitchen and the UnShellfish Channel. My name is Auntie Hannah, and go ahead and make yourself comfortable. Have a seat. I made these cookies 48 hours ago. I made 54 cookies. I have 5 left. I did give away 20, but within the span of 36 hours, me and my husband have eaten a lot of cookies. I'm here to show you how I made these amazing cookies. Um,
And transition scene. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this is going to be the history lesson behind cookies. When I say do research, I mean typically it's like a Google deep dive, which leads to a Wikipedia deep dive. So I'm going to read you guys the Wikipedia page for cookies. I'm not a scientist. I've said this from the beginning. Okay. The Wikipedia page for cookie. A cookie, or biscuit for the British term, is a baked snack or dessert that is typically small, flat, and sweet. It usually contains flour, sugar, egg, and some type of oil, fat, or butter. It may include other ingredients such as raisins, oats, chocolate, chips, or nuts. Most English-speaking countries call it a crunchy cookie a biscuit, except for the United States and Canada, where a biscuit is like a quick bread. We know what a biscuit is. Cookies biscuit. Hi. So I'm going to go on the history of cookies, which I thought was pretty cool actually. So cookie-like hard wafers have existed for as long as baking has been documented, in parts because they've survived travel so well, but they usually are not sweet enough to be considered cookies by modern standards. Don't even get me started on the sugar cultivation, both in... Excuse you! Do not get me started on talking about the sugars, not just in your food, what it does to your body, but also if you've looked into the history of sugar plantations, ... That's all that needs to be said. And they stole Hawaii or something for sugar. And pineapples. And the vacation spots, but I'm an uneducated Howley, so next point anyway. So cookies appear to have their origins in the 17th century AD Persia, shortly after the use of sugar became relevant in the common region. I actually also read that they started doing cookies as a test. So they would, of course, they didn't have modern ovens, they had fire. And they would test the heat of their oven by placing a little dollop of whatever they're baking. A lot of the times it was cakes. Mama! So what they would do is they would take a little dollop of the cake batter that they were making, and they would put it just a little blob on a sheet, and they put it in the oven to make sure that the oven was hot enough. And as time went on, that kind of just became its own thing. They also handled really well in travel because they were smaller, flatter, they were easier to store, a little bit easier to travel and carry them, especially because the cookies back then were probably not as sweet as we were. They would use natural sugars found in different fruits, jams, that kind of thing. And because it was good for traveling, a lot of these flavors were able to move across continents in a compatible cookie form. So it kind of brought on different flavors of each other and us as cultures, and it was able to transport really well, which I thought was really cool. I mean, if you look into the spice trail and the silk trail and the spice routes, it was a whole thing. Again, I'm not a historian. I just slightly kind of vaguely know things. In my warped, this is the Victor's histories stuff. Oh, the modern form of cookies, which is based on creaming the butter and sugar together, which we will do today, did not appear common into the 18th century. Actually, the chocolate chip cookie, I did find that word. I think I read somewhere, I'm looking on this article, but I think Toll House, some lady in the Toll House cookie factory, in the 30s or 1930s, accidentally created the modern day chocolate chip cookie. which is so funny to me that she just like, oops, I dropped this chocolate in this buttered cookie dough. I just made trillions. Like, good for you, girl. Like, accidents are always happy accidents. Like, always happy accidents. I loved this part. So for popular culture, there are a number of slang usages for the term cookie. This is why I love going on Wiki, because it's not just cookie, it's everything around cookie. Can mean a especially attractive woman. You know, call them a snack, call them a cookie, whatever you're feeling like. Other slang terms include smart cookie, tough cookie. My cats are screaming in the background. I'm sure you're going to hear this. Cookie can also be a vulgar slang for body parts on a woman. Other words, I don't know why, this is literally just down the list. I don't know if they grouped them like this in Wiki, but okay. Talking about slang for women's body parts, referring to the context of your stomach, often referred to vomiting, pop your cookies, toast your cookies, expression cookie cutter, talking about things that look all exactly the same. Oh my gosh. And then this one made me laugh out loud when I read this. It said, a cookie duster is a whimsical expression for a mustache. A cookie, what is it? A cookie duster is a mustache, a whimsical expression for a mustache. Love it. Talking about Cookie Monster on Sesame Street. You want cookie, whatever. So like, the more I'm looking into things, the more I'm finding that most things are created just because it's through necessity. And it's through just improvising, and it's through happy little accidents, and it just became tradition and it worked. So a little bit of history on the cookie. I'm sorry, my babies are we just fed them, it's after dinner, and it is time to run. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the other cutscene. Other transition cutscene, but
So, roll the tape.
Here are our ingredients: 2 3/4 cups of shifted flour, 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of brown sugar, 2/3 cup of white sugar, 2 eggs room temperature, and 2 sticks of butter, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I also have a giant Hershey's bar, which is the star of the show, but he melted in my car, so yeah. What we're gonna do is we're gonna sift every time. We're gonna sift the flour. I made a nice slow-mo shot for you guys to appreciate the dust. There we go. And a nice little action shot for you because I'm practicing my video editing skills. I'm now just combining all my dry ingredients together, and I sifted all that stuff just to be extra thorough. Now, the star of the show besides the Hershey bar is this browned butter. Now, I want you guys to truly appreciate the lesson we're about to learn here today. I started with the butter at room temperature, so it melts a little bit faster, and I got all the big chunks out of it. I did this on lower than medium heat until everything was melted. Once everything was melted, I kicked it up just slightly above medium. You don't want to go too hot because this can burn quickly. So what we're doing is we are evaporating all the water in the butter, and we're also breaking down the fats in the milk product, which is going to break down the proteins, and it's going to develop this super complex nutty flavor. And I promise you, once you're cooking this in your house, the smell is going to stay and linger like a fart. I hope you guys truly appreciated that montage. As you can see, here is me dropping my camera, trying to set up the shot. I even added an awesome swirl and highlight of this brown butter so you can truly appreciate the beauty. Now I'm going to be mixing my egg mixture while that butter cools. Just cracked some eggs in a bowl and I stirred in the vanilla extract. Nothing fancy, but of course, as I was being top chef, my kitchen fairy house had to intervene. Now I'm going to chop up this chocolate bar. I am going to leave the audio on just for that ASMR chopping. As you can see, I did leave it in my car. It was melted. I did put it in the freezer to solidify. I would highly recommend that you keep it at room temperature so it's a little bit easier to cut. All right, so now that my butter is at a touchable room temperature, I'm gonna start by combining my sugars. Start with that brown sugar and whip that sucker up. And then I'm gonna go in with the white sugar and add all that in, mix it up. Once that's combined, I'm gonna add those eggs. And it's gonna almost start to get a caramel-like look to it. Oh. Look at that pour, beautiful. Now I've got my wets all mixed in. I'm gonna start adding in my dry ingredients. I did it in 2 or 3 steps. I just fast forward it, but you don't wanna do it all at once. And be careful, it's gonna start to get thick. Here you can see me almost flaying it off the table. But again, you don't wanna overmix it, just till it's combined. Once that's combined, I'm gonna add my chocolate chunks. And again, you don't wanna overmix this, you just wanna combine it. I put it in the freezer for a little bit to solidify, just about half an hour, and here I am rolling out all of these. I'm not gonna make you watch me do this, just believe me, it took me a good chunk of time. Here are all of my little cookies, and I'm adding another awesome ingredient, which is just a little bit of salt. As you can see, I tried to be organized with it, and it just turned into chaos. Once those balls were made, put them in the freezer to chill for half an hour. I took a little stroll because I was gonna eat them if I stayed in the house. Now here's a nice little POV shot of me putting them on a tray after preheating the oven to 350 and just getting them nice and comfortable in the oven. I'm gonna let them sit in for 8 minutes because I made them a little bit smaller than normal. If they're larger size, I would say up to 11 minutes, but I always like undercooking. Here's a shot of the kitchen house elves helping me watch the cookies get baked. And a nice tour of these beautiful chocolate chunk gourmet cookies. Look at that. And of course, I had to take them out of the oven and show you guys what they look like nice and hot. Watch.
Oh.
And I'm just a human.
Oh.
Not above temptation. Seth Rogen laugh.
Hi, we're back. So, I made cookies. I don't know what else you want from me. I can eat one, I guess. So yeah, that was me making cookies. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you try the recipe. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know if you try it. Let me know if you have a favorite cookie recipes. And then just if you do make them, tell me how they turned out. You know, whatever you feel like. Oh, also, I know you can't see, but Jonathan the zombie is right there. He's just mounted on the wall. He's kind of just hidden behind the foliage today. But thank you guys so much for joining me for this slow science lesson that I gave you while I made you cookies. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun social media stuff. Yeah.